Yo, what's up, everybody? How's everyone doing tonight? Friday night. And unfortunately, we weren't able to have a training last night. We'll be back to our regular schedule next Thursday. Had some stuff come up over here, but I wanted to still come back at you with you guys with some great content. And what I'm about to share with you guys tonight is something that's absolutely powerful, absolutely game changing. First off, when you guys jump on, say what's up. About to send on a bot blast here in a minute. Dan, what's going on, bro? What is happening? I know you had some big stuff going on today. Today we're going to be going over some great shit tonight. Some of the biggest lessons I've learned here recently, and it's not quite what you guys think. Gio, Joe, Justin, what's going on, guys? Boom, Dan, I love it. Second pitch today, 2 follow-ups. That a boy, gonna be hot, man. Gonna be hot. Always think about sales, right? Always be thinking about every morning when you wake up, how can I get these sales calls? No, that's not the number one lesson. I'm just talking to Dan here, and you guys are on there. You guys should always be thinking about sales, what we can do. And yeah, this is going to be a fun one. I'm not sure how long we'll be on here, but I'm actually going to give you guys plenty of examples as we walk through, because this is powerful stuff, guys. And it has to do with the way we think about business and how we look at everything as a whole, right? And I'm going to give you guys specific examples, and we're going to break it down so you guys can take these lessons and start viewing your business and everything actually in life the way I'm about to break this thing down, because it's so powerful. This is how you solve problems. This is how you learn things. This is how you build businesses. This is how you get better, right? You have to start thinking like an engineer. Okay, you have to think like an engineer. And that's like the number one key lesson. And I'm going to get to what that means here in a second. As some more people come on. James, Jeff, what's going on, guys? This is going to be a fun one tonight, okay? This has been the biggest learning lesson I've had, man, over the last few months. And this is now how I break everything down, okay? So with that being said, let's just jump right in, okay? The number one biggest key lesson, right, in business, think like an engineer. You must see every part of the whole. And within every part of your organization, there's going to be minuscule parts, right? So I'm going to be testing something out right here. Let me make sure you guys can see my whiteboard over here as I draw. If you can't see it, let me know in the chat box here, right? But what's business, right? We've got sales. We've got marketing. No, hold on. We've got sales, we've got marketing, got fulfillment, right? And we got a bunch of other stuff. And what we need to start understanding, guys, is all of these things are interrelated. And you need to be able to take a step back and look at every piece of your company. I'm going to take sales in a minute here, because we're going to break down the sales process and how we can really optimize for the whole with that. But you guys need to be looking at everything and how everything reacts to one another, because they all interact with each other. Fulfillment affects marketing, which affects the sales, right? And how you're sold on is going to affect what type of marketing you're going to do, which is going to affect the type of fulfillment you are able to, do, right? And so what I mean by that is, let's just take sales, for example. Let's just break this thing down. Okay, so just so you got the key lesson, optimize for the whole, be able to view every single piece of the specific departments, right? So we've got our departments. Now let's take sales. So sales can be broken down into the outreach, right? And this is how you get better at anything, guys. You must track everything and you must optimize everything. Okay, so we've got outreach, and then we've got scheduled calls, and then we've got closed deals, right? Everything can be built into this funnel here. Outreach, scheduled calls, closed deals. Now, a lot of times we happen to put all of these things in one specific bucket. But what we need to start doing is understanding how each one interacts with each other, right? What kind of outreach are we doing? What kind of schedules we're doing? How is that leading to the closed process? So let's break it down, right? If you notice that you're scheduling no calls, right? We need to go through that. So let's break through how we can look and fix and optimize that. Okay, and you've got to look at everything like this. And honestly, guys, you can look at every aspect of your life like this, and you can break it down and you can find the specific point where things are breaking. And as a business owner, you need to be able to see where along the chain things are breaking. So let's go through your outreach, right? There's a ton of different outreach methods. I'm going to write a few things down again. Okay, and it really helps to map everything out. So let's say we're doing cold email. And then we're doing Facebook messaging. And then we're doing Instagram messaging. And then we're doing LinkedIn, okay? All with one goal in mind, right? We have one goal here. Set an appointment, okay? set APT. So now we've broken our outreach down. This is what we need to optimize, right? We need to figure out how to build our optimize. What's up, guys? I see a bunch of people jumping on. Tim, Alex, Daniel. We need to optimize, okay? So we need to break everything down because there's set calls, okay? So if we're focused on set calls for the day, okay, let's take it a step back. Here, now we can take it a step back. But here's the thing, guys. We can take it a step back even further than this. So what we need to start doing is tracking everything we're doing. What does our cold email say? What does our Facebook message say? What does our Instagram say? What does our link say? How many appointments are we getting? And then how many are we closing? You need to start tracking these things. You need to have sheets for it, right? And then just so you guys know, it doesn't stop there, right? Now, once we go out there, we gather data on the marketplace. We need to, again, start thinking as if we are engineers. What's working, what's not? Let's take cold email for an example. A lot of people are like, oh, cold email just doesn't work. You know, and the reason why they say that is because they're not breaking it down like how I'm gonna break you. So now we've got cold email up top that we need to optimize, okay? So with cold email, how many different variables are there in cold email? There's quite a few, right? There's what we're using to send. There's the headline. There's the message that we're sending. And then there's the list that we're sending. Right? So we can break it down, and we can probably break it down even further. So start looking at these things, okay? And when you go out and you're testing, see what's working and what's not. And if something works, let's say we found a headline that works to get people to open the email. Awesome. Okay, we're going to keep that. Now, nothing else is working, right? We're not getting responses. You know, the send deliverability might be bad. Okay, great. Now we need to go and work on each one of these things in order. So now we've got our headline. Now we need to test our messaging, right? So we've got our star headline. Now we've still got the other variables here. Am I making sense to you guys? This makes sense as far as how we're breaking this down and how you need to start breaking down every aspect of your business like this, okay? And you can always pull it back the layer. Okay, now I'm just sticking on cold email, let alone LinkedIn, everything else. But a lot of times what we're doing, guys, is we're going out, we're just sending 500 emails, doesn't work, done, quit, cold email's broken, I'm out. Well, fucking, of course, cold email works, guys. We're just gonna test and optimize until we get there. And the only way to test is to break it down or step by step. What are the key processes of it? And then what can we test, right? So now we've got a start headline. Now we need to play with the message. What is our message saying? Are we asking questions in our message? Are we making direct offers? Are we talking too much about us? How are we getting that message to resonate? Okay, and then so we can optimize based on that, and we can break this down into its own chain of commands. Like, what are we saying here? What does the signature look like? You know, what does, you know, are we having a calendar leak inside of it or not, right? And then we keep track of that. Like, you've got to start keeping track of all of your data because you can break this down at every single level. And this is how you get good at something. You test something, you track it, you see what works, you pull out what works, you test more stuff. If it works, great, do more of it. If it doesn't work, stop doing it. This is a very simple thing, guys, but people tend to miss this, right? Like, life in general is not magic. It's not rocket science. People getting results is not rocket science. It's literally this. It's people taking action. We've got a cause, right? Then we've got an effect. Okay, so we do something, which a lot of us get caught up in the cause and we overthink the crap out of it. You got dude, I fail all the time, guys. I still fail every day, right? But if I win 10% of the time, guess what happens? That blows everything up, right? But this is life. We've got a cause. We take action. We've got an effect, which is what it is, right? You know, whatever happens, right? Let's say we send 500 cold emails, back to the email example, okay? And let's say that we got no responses. Nobody responded back. Well, instead of being like, well, cold email sucks, or that template sucks, or this guy sucks, let's diagnose it. Was there anything good from it? Was the headline any good? Are we sure our list was good? Was our deliverability good? Were we hitting the spam inbox, right? We can continue to be breaking these things down, right? Because then we get the effect, and then we got the result, okay? And there's no such thing as failure, guys. There's just a result that we didn't like. No, I didn't like it. Yes, I did like it. If you did like it, do more of it, right? So you need to start looking at everything as a whole. Everything is just inputs, outputs, results, okay? And if it's good, do more. If it's not, do less, okay? And you can break this down into every single step of the way, right? So I'm gonna go back to my example again with sales. So we've got scheduling calls, right? So the whole sales process, we've got outreach or inbound, right? And I would recommend everyone start moving to inbound at some point. We've got outreach, we've got scheduled calls, We've got close. Now I just broke down cold email as an example of how we can go through each step of the process and continue to optimize and get better with it, right? But we need to do this at every single step of the way, okay? So now let's take sales calls for a minute, okay? Our first sales call, getting on there. What kind of script are we using? What questions are we asking? Right? And then we need to be able to go through, record these calls, because then we need to find out what's working and what's not. What kind of data are we gathering? What are we saying that as we review the call that looks to be moving the call forward is helping us close, and what isn't? Okay, we really need to be testing this stuff. Everything needs to become a test because you can always find a leak inside the bigger whole. You guys need to become really, really good at seeing everything as a ecosystem, essentially, and seeing how one thing affects everything else, right? And here's another thing that you can start looking at, right? Let's go back to our original, we've got cold email. We've got Facebook messaging, direct messages, right? Instagram messages. We got LinkedIn. We've got networking, whatever it might be, right? How many of you guys are tracking every single schedule you get, every single action you take on each one of these spots? I want to hear it. Let me know. Let me know if you guys are tracking down there in the box. How many know where it's coming from? So if you get 6 schedules in a week, where are they all coming from? Right? And that's just step one, because you need to start tracking how much effort does it take with cold email? How much does it take from Facebook messaging? How much does it take from Instagram? How much does it take from LinkedIn networking? Because here's the other thing, because you need to start looking at the time investment in everything. Because as you grow, as you look to become a business owner, if you want to start thinking like an entrepreneur and how a business owner is and how I have to view things, I have to look at the hourly time based on everything. Because here's what you might find. You might find that Facebook messaging might get you 5 appointments a week, and cold email might get you only 3, okay? Now, what if you take a look like this? Now, if you realize, though, that the Facebook messaging takes 18 hours a week, and this takes 2, what's better, right? Where would you rather be? Okay, and I'm just making up numbers here right now to give you guys an example that you need to start looking at everything like this, okay? Seeing how everything relates to the whole. Now, let's take it even different, though. Let's say, okay, so right here, if I stop at this number, then I might be like, well, doesn't really make sense to do this a whole lot, and let's see if I can optimize my time and get more, appointments per hour somewhere else, because I'm getting 3 from cold email. But here's the next step. What if out of these 5 appointments, you close 3 deals, right? You're 3 for 5, okay? And out of this one, you're 1 for 3, right? Is that math right? Yeah. So this one, you're closing 60%. This one, you're closing 30%. Or actually, let's say 1 for 5, right? 1 for 5, I want to do the math. Or no, let's just say 0 for 5, right? 0%. Now, if I didn't take the next step, I might think that it might be better to be doing cold email. Yet the Facebook messaging is closing more deals, even though it's taking a lot longer. And this is what matters, right? Closing the deal at the end of the day. Okay, so do you see how everything is interrelated? Like, let me know if I'm just ranting and you guys get this. If it's making sense, please let me know. Because I know I have a tendency to rant and talk a lot and share a lot of things. But I just want to, this isn't a perfect guide for you guys. This is more to get you guys thinking in a certain way. I need you guys to be thinking like business owners, thinking at the whole, right? Again, I'm saying this over and over again, but you need to be picturing everything as a giant ecosystem and looking for leaks within the system, okay? And you need to be tracking this stuff. How much is it taking per hour? How many hours am I doing this, right? Because if you're under $20,000 a month right now, if you're not making more than 20 grand a month, you should have one goal and one goal only, guys. And that is to wake up every morning and be like, how can I set more calls? How do I set more sales calls? How do I close more deals? Because that's what's going to lead you to money. So you need to wake up every single day. And so it's going to be worth it to take the time to go through this. Dan Tiemann started off going on here, right? And he was talking about how he had a second pitch today. He had a second call today. I know for a fact Dan's doing these things. He's tracking everything. And he's constantly auditing his time. Is it worth it, right? Because what we don't want to do, and it's very easy to get into the habit of when you're getting started, is feeling like you're productive but not moving the needle forward, right? So you got to be careful with that. Okay, so if you're sending 15 business messages, like, Nick said send 15 messages, every week, like, is it producing results? After 3 weeks, can you sit back and observe and see if it's producing results or not? Okay, you don't want to just do something just to do it. We do something that's going to make us money, right? That's going to help our client. That's going to push us forward. It's going to help our situation, help our family. We need to always be thinking about how do we set more calls and what's going to be the most optimized use of our time, and not doing busy work just to do busy work to make us feel better about ourselves. It's very easy to do at the beginning. And you know why that is? Because at the beginning, it just never ends, guys. There's going to be things that you don't want to do. There's going to be things. You're going to have to call on people you don't want to call on. You're going to have to reach out to people you don't want to reach out to. You're going to have to put yourself out there, get uncomfortable, right? That's just part of the deal of becoming a successful entrepreneur, a successful business owner. Okay, you have to go out there and do these things. And again, you have to be able to think as a whole. Now, I'm going to give you guys another example, right? Let's take our ads for an example, right? Our ad funnels. Okay, so we've got ads, we've got landing pages, we've got schedules, we've got shows, we've got close, right? This is pretty much all local business funnels in a nutshell, okay? So for those of you who aren't doing local business, you can see what I mean with the data, but this is specifically for every single local business. I don't care whether you're a roofer, a painter, a dojo, it doesn't matter. This is the process that they are going through in order to get a real estate agent, a mortgage broker, the process that goes in. We need to understand how this whole ecosystem runs together. Remember the example before where I was like, you know what? We're getting more appointments from email for less time than Facebook Messenger, but we're closing none of the email and closing all the Facebook Messenger. We need to be able to see this in regards to ads, right? So let's say we've got a $2 cost per click, a $20 lead. We've got a 50% schedule rate, right? So that's a $40 schedule, whatever. We've got a 50% show and a 20% close, right? 80 and then 160, okay? We've got this. Now, here's what can happen, guys. Everything affects everything else, because if you are able to double if let's say you cut your landing page or your cost per click, and all of a sudden this lowers everything. $1 cost per click cheaper, better ads, better imagery, better things, whatever, leads, it cuts everything in half, right? Which is a massive deal all the way down, okay? Every single thing in half. Now that's an easy example, right? So it goes from $1 click to $10 to $20 a schedule, $40 a show, $80 a close. It's an easy example, but here's a little bit different one. What if our ads and what we're able to do helps our client out, and it looks as if it could hurt us on the front end? Let's say that we've got our ads, it's still $2 a click, but instead of a normal 10% conversion rate or whatever it might be, we've only got a 5% conversion rate, okay? So now we've got a $40 lead. To the person who doesn't understand the whole, who doesn't get marketing, you might immediately think, well, that sucks. That's way worse. Now, what if we track this thing down? So we've got $80 schedule, $160 show. And then if we had a 20% close, it would be bad. But what if this extra conversion rate led to a better quality of lead? Okay, what if it led to a better quality of lead that helped our client close more deals, and all of a sudden their close rate went from 20% to 50%? Now, instead of $400 a close, which is where we were at before, we're at $320, even though our cost per lead is technically higher. Okay, so we need to understand everything relates to everybody else. The whole system affects the whole. And our job as entrepreneurs is to build the system, build the engine, and then look for ways to plug the engine and get it better. Again, every single aspect of your business, it does this, right? Like I was asked the other day, or earlier today, what's a good cost per lead for Facebook inbound ads, right? Well, I'm like, well, it depends, because if I wanted to, for example, I could put up a Facebook lead ad and get or let's say not even a lead ad, depending on how I put up the ad, lead ad, I could get $10 a lead, right? But it might not be my target market. It might not be the best, and I might only close 1 out of 50 or something because of the way I never get them, which would be a $500 close. And, it might not be what we want. Now, what if we had a $50 lead that was more qualified and I closed 1 out of 5, $250, 5 times the lead cost, right? To get the inbound lead than the lead forms, but my cost per close is significantly less. And the only way I know that is if you truly track these things, you truly start to look for these things, you really start to understand the whole, how everything fits together, right? And you and your client need to come together and build these things. And you need to be observing this in every aspect of your business, right? And the best place to get started, because a lot of you guys might not have a ton of employees, is to optimize your time in your day. And what are you optimizing for? And what are you building towards? Okay. And a lot of times that's going to come with, what do I do with my prospecting time? Okay. Everybody on here, again, who's making less than $20,000 a month should be spending almost all of their time prospecting. Seriously, almost all of it. Now, what can you do to tinker with that prospecting and get better? Okay. How can you improve your messaging? How can you improve this? And the only way to truly get better is to test different things, test different variations, not be afraid to test different headlines, different messages, different sales scripts, different closes, putting yourself out there, building videos, right? We've got to test. Our jobs, your job as an entrepreneur, honestly, as you grow, is literally just to throw shit at the wall that you think might work and find out what sticks. Nobody knows exactly what's going to work and what's not. The market's going to tell us what's going to work, right? The results are cause, effect, results. If we like it, do less. If we don't like it, do more. Okay, so that's a quick rundown here in regards to my optimization, discussion. I really wanted to get this out and share it with you guys because like this is so powerful if you really see it, because you can look for every little aspect to get better at. How do I, like I just showed you the example before with the cold email, how do I get better at the headline? Okay, let's break that down and let's try to test 3 different headlines. Let's look for something that's pain-based, eye-catching, eye-opening, right? I sent an email out the other day that says something about Donald Trump. When Donald Trump was in front of he was speaking on Tuesday or Wednesday. Why did I send it out? Because I knew it would catch a headline. I knew it would get it open. Guess what? We got several schedules from it, right? From a cold email blast. Now, start thinking creatively. How can we test these things? Okay. A lot of times people are looking for, given answers, and there's proven processes that are out there that work. Obviously, people inside the Crusader program are given a lot of great proven processes that do work and all that. But if you really want to go next level, you want to get bigger, you need to become obsessed with this, obsessed with optimizing, obsessed with looking at everything as a whole, view everything as an engineer, understand that everything is optimized and everything is interconnected and works together with everything else. Okay, because again, the perfect example as well was, cold emails getting 3 schedules but no closes, Facebook messages taking 5 times as long but getting all the closes, right? We need to understand, where is our energy going, what is worth it, what's not. And if we get results, do more of it. If we don't, do less. But the thing is, majority of us don't track anything we do. We have no clue. We don't have a follow-up system. We don't have a follow-up process. We don't know how many emails we're sending. We don't know how many LinkedIn messages we're sending. We don't know if our process works. We're not even looking at it. We've got to understand data. Data is going to become your entire life if you want to grow a 7-figure business and beyond, right? The data is like what I look at the most. And we're always thinking about, what does the data say? What does the data say, right? I can have my own, yes, I have pretty good ideas of what things are going to work. I've got, I've got some marketing knowledge and skill, right? But I still let the data decide for me. I let it decide. So think about everything like this, guys. You always, 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 always want to be optimizing for the whole and looking for areas to optimize, and understand that everything in life is interconnected to everything else, right? Your sales affects your marketing, which affects your fulfillment, which affects your finances, and it all blends together. And honestly, guys, you can take this little strategy we just went through here, where if you just break things down lower and lower and keep peeling back the layers, and do it in any aspect of your life, right? Any aspect. How do I get better at learning? How do I get better at going to the gym? All these things, look and optimize for it. How do I get a better body? Well, we need to start with going to the gym, okay? And then we need to start with building better food, and then breaking everything down into little pieces and attacking each little piece and running tests on each one of those pieces, right? Testing what types of workouts you can do. Okay, this worked, I'm gonna do more of it. This didn't, I'm not gonna do less, right? Testing at what types of diets you can run, what foods seem to react to. I'm gonna eat high protein and low carbs, see how that goes. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, I'm gonna have super high carbs and low protein. Because here's the thing, guys, life is about testing, reviewing how our tests went, right? Analyzing the data, and then doing more of what works and less of what doesn't. It's very simple, but nobody really breaks it down like this. And that's how we don't understand how we get certain results and where certain things come from. Okay, like this is everything. This is so powerful. So if you guys are just jumping on right now, this was a shorter call. If you have any questions, by the way, guys, what's up, Mark, Paulson, Luke, my homies, what's going on? Scott, see you jumping on there. Bref, my dude, Tim, what's going on? Let me know. I just wanted to come on and get a quick rant, give you guys some specific examples, because this is how I run our business. I take a look at the whole, right? And then we get together and we talk about how we can fix certain things, right? And the same thing can happen with, an ad campaign, right? So if my video sales letter campaign is broken, I'm going to look at every little piece, right? Every little piece. What does the thank you page say if it's not pushing them to the schedule? Okay, where's the headline? Where's the breakdown in the entire organism? And then how do we fix it? How do we optimize, right? If we're sending cold emails, headline looks good, but they're not messaging, we need to change our message. Very simple, right? And if the headline looks good and the message, we've tried the message 10 different times, then we need to look at who are we marketing to? And if nobody opens it, then what platform are we sending it from? What list are we using, right? So you got to be able to reverse engineer, break things down, and look for the broken parts of that whole, and then piece them together, okay? So yeah, that is just a quick breakdown. Let's see here. I see a couple questions. Tim, what do you use for cold email platform? Mailshake is usually at Mailshake or QuickMail is one of the two. Right now I do a lot through Infusionsoft as well. This is for opt-ins. I'm also running opt-in campaigns, generating them. But Mailshake, QuickMail, Woodpecker would be the top cold email platforms that I'm familiar with. Let's see here. Luke, my man, Paulson, what's up, bro? Data and conversion is everything, dude. Guys, go back, rewatch this. This one's really powerful because it's going to break down exactly how I think, how the top business leaders think, and how I want to look at everything. Because you can pull everything out and do exactly what I just did from it, and then you can find a solution. Sometimes when it's like, and this has happened to me before, it's happened several times over the last year where it's very difficult to run inbound advertising campaigns, right? And as you guys know, all of you on here, it's no secret that I run a lot of ads to get people in the door. I've seen you guys sign up for my stuff, funnel hack, whatever. It doesn't matter, right? But there's been times where the whole thing just stopped working. And it's not just like a gradual stop. It's like sometimes it's come to an absolute halt, right? And so what do? I break everything down. I test everything. I'm like, do I need to shoot a new video? Do I need to do new headlines? Do I need to do a new thank you page? Do we need new audiences? Do we need new ads? Do we need new click-throughs? We've got to be able to see that and see I look at the entire funnel and I'm like, okay, they're moving along the way from here to here. Where is the stopping? Okay, we need to test different things here to see what's going to continue to push them through. Because if you start to look at things like this, as if you're plugging the leaks, optimizing for the whole, and as an engineer who pieces all these things together and builds a smooth machine, that's when you're going to be game over, right? You got to be able to build a smooth machine. That's our jobs. We build a machine and then we plug other people inside to run the machine and operate the system in the machine, okay? And every single piece of the business has its own little ecosystem, its own little organism. We're just like our bodies. We're just like our communities, just like our cities, just like our states, just like our countries. They all have little own ecosystems. Same thing with every aspect of our business. We can all break them down and we can find that solution, because it can be very daunting to be like, I don't have any sales. How do I get a sale? Especially if you're going to, how the fuck do I get a sale? Well, how do we get a sale, right? How do you get a sale? Well, first, you need a list, right? You need someone to go after. You need someone to target. Then you need to put together the email list. Then you need to put together the messaging, right? Then you need to send out the message. Then you need to jump on the phone. But if we break everything down, it makes it seem much easier. When we see this big, giant thing, it can be very daunting, very difficult, and very overwhelming for us, all right? So break everything down into small pieces. Look for ways to optimize and get inside it. Yep. I'm looking at Mark, optimizing life. Absolutely, brother. This is just as much of it. Guys, if you want to double your productivity, just eat better. Seriously, eat clean. Like, it is the best thing I've ever done is eat super clean. I'm going through some cleanses right now, changing up my diets. It's just insane how much energy I have. I've been up since 4 a.m, was in an all-day operations meeting today. Came on just because I was so excited and wanted to share stuff with you guys. Like, it's crazy. So you can take everything I just broke down and optimize your life as well. You want to get a better body? You want to get better shape? Okay, let's break it down. Well, how do we do that? Well, we need to eat right. We need to exercise. Okay, so what does eating right mean? Well, we can eat these foods here. Okay, when do we eat them? And you just break every little thing down. This stuff can seem tedious, but it's the stuff that matters and the stuff that counts. And it's where I've seen the biggest results recently. Luke, that a boy, working out, bro. Of course it does. Working out is the key. Everyone needs to work out. Minimum. Jonathan Reese, what's up, man? Luke, he says data rules, what isn't measured can't be improved. Absolutely. So not only do you need to measure it, then you need to go in and inspect it and run different tests on it, but also run your tests intelligently, guys. And what do I mean by that? Instead of, let's say, you need to be able to, this is the same thing with ad campaigns, right? On an ad campaign, this is what you don't want to do is, let's say you have an ad campaign that's just tanking, right? Just absolutely tanking. Unless it's like a $50 click and no one's even getting there and, it's just 0% conversion, you spent $20,000 on it. Like, then you need to optimize the front end, or I'm sorry, okay, so let me take a step back. You need to know that you cannot optimize and change everything at once. You need to keep certain constants there and change one variable at a time so that you can figure out what's actually going to improve it and what's not. All right, you can't just change everything at once. Let's say your cold email campaign is broken, right? Well, the smart thing to do isn't to go get a new list, go get a new email provider, and then send a new message with a new headline. Well, then we don't know anything that's working, right? Let's at least try and iterate and find something that's working within our program and then change things around it. So that way we can isolate what the problem is and change it from there. All right, it's very, very it's really very simple, one thing at a time, and that'll lead to optimize. I'll have a whole training on that when you get a chance. I'll probably do like a PowerPoint or something. But with that being said, guys, I don't have a whole lot more right now. I could keep going on all this stuff, but I wanted to get on, share with you guys, get some thoughts out of my head, a little Friday night rant here. I'll probably do it a bit more of these here especially next month and the coming months after that. But next week, we're going to be back to a regular scheduled training. Next Thursday night, we'll have some great stuff for you. All you guys decide to hop on, hang out with me here for a little bit Friday night. Love having you guys on here. Hope you guys got some good stuff. When you come back, drop me a 1 in the comments, or let me know if you guys like this type of stuff. Same thing with the mindset workshop next week. We're going to get back to sales hardcore training next week. But I want to share with you guys and make you well-rounded entrepreneurs, well-rounded business people, as well as share with you guys what's helped me improve my life and help me strive and the things that I really think matters. This stuff matters. This is how I got good at sales. This right here. I just really looked at what I was doing, and then I did a hell of a lot more of it. And then on top of that, every single day I woke up in the morning, I was like, how can I get better at sales? How can I get more sales calls? How can I get more sales calls? And then once I started getting a lot of sales calls, it was how can I close more deals? How can I close more deals? How can I close? Now it's just boom, all walking through the whole process. So with that being said, guys, Mark, Raul, my homies, what's up? Luke, everybody who's on here, Paulson, Bref, Tim, all you guys, hope you guys have a wonderful Friday night. Great weekend, and we'll be back next Thursday. I'll be posting in the group soon. Justin, take care, guys, and we'll be talking soon. All right, guys, later.